Welcome back, everyone. We are gearing up for a wild offseason, and not only for the Lakers, but really for the entire NBA in general. Between what we have already been hearing about regarding Zach LaVine and the Chicago Bulls, the debate over whether or not James Harden should get a max contract from Philly, and now the Kyrie Irving drama as well, we are in store for a lot this summer. And to be completely honest, a lot of it can really be quite fun to watch play out. I mean, it's never fun when it's happening to your favorite team, but it can make for some interesting fan-made scenarios, which is kind of what we're going to be doing in today's video. And as you could probably tell from the thumbnail, we are going to be talking about what's going on with Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets, along with if there is any possibility of him becoming a Laker. Now, before we get into any of that though, just know that I am not saying that Kyrie Irving is even remotely likely to become a Laker, nor am I trying to tell you that he is for sure even leaving Brooklyn either. But with all of that being said, let's dive into the details, and where all of this happens to be coming from is from a report indicating that the Brooklyn Nets are not willing to give Kyrie Irving a long-term contract. If you were unaware, Kyrie Irving has the option of becoming a free agent this summer. He has a player option on his contract, and many believe that he wants to opt out of it in order to get a longer-term deal. But if this report can be believed, the Brooklyn Nets will not be the ones to offer it to him. In fact, there are those that believe they may not even want him back at all. No one can deny the great player that Kyrie Irving undoubtedly is, but as we all know, that is not really the problem with him. And if there is anyone who knows that, it would have to be the Brooklyn Nets. They began last season by not even allowing Kyrie Irving to play with them due to him being unwilling to get vaccinated. However, following a number of injuries to their team, they allowed him to return to the court with them despite only being able to play in road games. All of that turned out to be a year-long headache for them, and one that they do not want to go through again. Even though his refusal to get vaccinated is no longer a problem for them, as the mandate did end up getting removed, there are plenty of other issues that they have dealt with in regard to Kyrie Irving. There have now been multiple occasions where Kyrie simply walked away from their team due to personal reasons, and without giving them any kind of notice to prepare for it either. Again, there is no denying how valuable he can be on the court, but it's very hard to blame the Nets for being frustrated with him, or even being completely done with him in general. Whether or not they want to acknowledge it, they have dramatically underachieved compared to the expectations that they had for a team built around Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant, and they likely blame a lot of that on Kyrie. Now, they might not be able to prevent him from opting into his contract, but if they are truly unwilling to move forward with Kyrie on their team, they could definitely trade him after opting in. And with Kyrie having been very open lately talking about LeBron James, and primarily in a positive light, many believe that if he were to leave Brooklyn, that the Lakers could very well be a destination for him.
If I was in the same maturity level I am now and understanding who I am, and I look back on that time then, we definitely would have won more championships together because there would have been a better man-to-man understanding about what I'm going through. I didn't know how to share my emotions. I didn't know how to,
In addition to that, I find it hard to believe that LeBron James would not welcome him back with open arms either. But the only problem is, how or why would the Nets even trade him to the Lakers? The only way the Lakers could acquire Kyrie Irving through a trade would be by including one of LeBron, Anthony Davis, or Westbrook in that trade. They don't have any other contracts that could make a trade work for him financially, and obviously, they would not want to trade LeBron or Anthony Davis for him either. And barring the Nets completely blowing up their team, I guarantee that they do not want Westbrook. And not only them, but Kevin Durant in particular. Despite them having appeared to have made up, they were definitely not on good terms following Kevin Durant leaving the Thunder, and although they might be okay with each other now, I highly doubt that KD would ever want to play with Russ again. So unless Kevin Durant would leave as well, and the Nets would enter a full rebuild, they would not be interested in acquiring Westbrook. However, while that does rule out the possibility of a two-team trade, it would not completely rule out Kyrie being traded to the Lakers. It would just make it more complicated. And here's where I'm once again going to remind you that none of this is very likely to happen, but it would indeed be possible. No, the Brooklyn Nets would definitely not be interested in Westbrook, but they might be intrigued with the idea of trading Kyrie for a few other players. But if Westbrook would not be going to Brooklyn, we have to find a different team that might be willing to take him on. And like I've referred to in multiple videos now, that team could very well be the Charlotte Hornets. Up until this point, they have been the team with the most rumored interest in acquiring him, and primarily because they have the same problem that the Lakers do, with that problem being that they also have a large contract that they no longer want, and that contract belongs to Gordon Hayward, who could potentially be the key in making this trade work not only financially, but in regard to giving the Brooklyn Nets a good package for Kyrie Irving. And no, it would not involve them acquiring Gordon Hayward. This deal would give the Nets Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, and Wenyen Gabriel, each of whom would fit very well on their team. Because if the Nets were to give up Kyrie Irving, they would very likely want a high-quality point guard in return for him, and Terry Rozier could definitely fit that narrative. No, he may not be on the same level compared to Kyrie, but he is still a quality two-way point guard capable of averaging over 20 points per game, and he would definitely be less of a headache for them too. Then when you throw in Kelly Oubre, who is a quality wing defender, which they definitely need by the way, and they could potentially be happy with this trade package for Kyrie Irving. Maybe the Lakers would have to throw in a first round pick, or potentially a couple of second rounders, but I don't think the Nets would be too unhappy with Terry Rozier and Kelly Oubre, and you can make up your own mind in regard to how much draft compensation they would demand here. Moving on to how Charlotte would benefit here though, the benefit for them would be getting to move on from Gordon Hayward. Now they would be taking on Westbrook, but then again, some reports indicate that they might be okay with that anyways. In addition to that, they would be getting a young player in Talen Horton-Tucker, a quality wing in Stanley Johnson, and potentially a second round pick or two. The Lakers could even throw in Kendrick Nunn here if the Hornets wanted him as well, which would make the salary for this trade work almost perfectly. Now, all of that would definitely be a lot to give up for the Lakers, but then again, they would be the ones getting Kyrie Irving here. It would mean taking on the contract of Gordon Hayward, but I don't think they would mind if it meant reuniting Kyrie Irving with LeBron James. In fact, despite him having a bad contract, Gordon Hayward would actually be a good fit for their team, and to be completely honest, he could potentially really help them here. But the primary reason for them making this deal would of course be for Kyrie Irving, who would undoubtedly be an upgrade over Westbrook and could be worth going all in for. Now, there are the off-court issues that come along with them, but that might be a risk worth taking, as we already know what LeBron James and Kyrie Irving can accomplish together. In conclusion though, although I definitely do not see Kyrie Irving becoming a Laker, believe it or not, there is a way for it to become a reality. And while I don't see that being a very likely outcome, I think we can all agree that Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets are not on the same page right now. But with all of that being said, that will conclude my thoughts on this one. And what do you guys think? What team do you think Kyrie Irving will end up on? Let me know your thoughts by commenting down below and we can talk about it there. That will do it for this video though. Big thank you to all of you who took the time to watch until the end of this video, and until the end of all of my videos in general. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to my channel if you have not already, and turn on notifications to get notified right away when I drop a new video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.